everyone, Kim here, Abundant Life Tarot. Thank you so much for joining me. I am sharing with you my 10 oracle decks I like to use in my true crime or mystery readings that I like to do on the channel. And these are my top go-to decks. Of course, I am sometimes intuitively called to use another deck that's not included in this list, but generally speaking, when you see my readings over and over again with like the Mystery Mystic series, you will usually see these decks I'm going to mention today. So I have identified 10, and we're going to get right to it and start sharing. Okay, so first up, obviously, I gotta mention this one. This is the one I created. Okay, it's massive, because the original deck has 160 cards, and then I created a 20 card expansion. So now we're at 180 cards, and it is the Secrets Revealed True Crime Oracle. Okay, I could use this deck alone for my Mystery Mystic readings and be just fine. You can divide them into sections or into decks, like almost mini decks, if you wanted to, if you're using it, and just shuffling it like so. I'm always looking for jumping cards, but these keywords are ones that resonate with me and, you know, stick out in my mind as something that makes sense in my readings, right? It speaks my language. The keywords are what speaks my language. So that's why making your own oracle decks or tarot decks are amazing, or your cartomancy deck, is because it's born from you and your keywords and your intuitive hits. And I have a flip through of the decks, both the original one and the expansion. So let's see. This is from what the expansion, set up or staged. Yeah. So yeah, it is the Secrets Revealed True Crime Oracle. This deck is my everything. I could use this with tarot or without it and feel like I could get a good sense of what is going on, what are the key themes in a true crime or mystery reading, and what kind of evidence to look for or location clues. It's really comprehensive, and it is set to grow even bigger this year with more expansion packs, with more keywords and ways in which to mix and match your deck in the near future. All right, let's move on to my number 2 deck. All right, so my next one I love so much. You all know it quite well if you've seen my true crime readings or missing person readings, and it is the Mildred Payne's Secret Pocket Oracle. And I guess you could say it's the first edition, but there was like additional like expansion packs that came with the original deck, and I just collected them over time. And yeah, I love this deck so much. I love it so much. And yes, I use it primarily now in, you know, mystery readings and mysterious circumstance readings, but you really could use it for all sorts of readings. You can use it as a clarifying deck. You can do it similar to how I read with it, like either a 3-card, 6-card, or 9-card spread is what I like to do with it. You don't have to have it, you know, with other decks. It can be a standalone deck, and it just reads so well and clear to me. And yeah, I can't say enough about it. I always use this deck as like an opener, like to really pick up on what are some key themes I need to really pay attention to throughout the rest of the readings I do for a particular case. And it really sets the stage. It really helps me. Oh, look, we had a power outage. So it's completely dark and you can only hear my voice. This is the Mildred Payne Secret Pocket Oracle. Magic at hand. The power went out. I will be back in just a moment once I get some lighting so I can share with you like the guidebook really quick. And then we're going to move on to my number 3 card. But I just had to share this with you because this is my life in the tropics. It's night. It's dark. The power went out. And I can't wait for it to come back on so I can keep sharing with you these decks. And we're back. So lights came right back on. Yay. And I'm just going to show you a few more cards. I loved this deck so much that I had to get the poker-sized edition. Okay, the Bloody Hell edition. Okay, so I have that one as well. Sometimes I'm called to use this version most of the time because I'm most familiar with this deck. And I used it, you know, a lot. So I'm very, like, much comfortable with this edition. But that's not to say that this one doesn't deliver. Sometimes I'm called to use this one, if that makes any sense. Like my intuition's like, no, not this one, but this one. Okay. It's like a cross between, to me, a Lenormand deck and like Oracle and Tarot. It's like, it's just this little combo. I don't know how else to describe it. This is the Bloody Hell edition. There's card backs. Yeah, sometimes I am called to use this edition. And the readings are just potent and strong and resonant. And I have the PDF guidebook for this deck saved on my desktop, on my computer. So sometimes you'll hear me when I'm doing my mystery mystic readings, you'll hear me say, okay, the keywords associated with this card are blah, blah, blah. And that's because I like to share those with you and also share my personal keywords that I'm thinking that are coming through the card. So I like to share them. There's only keywords. There's no like full on like detailed meanings, but you don't need that with this deck. And so when I first got it, I had the actual, like, it was like on this, it almost felt like paper bag material, like parchment paper. And I ended up making a copy of it, a colored copy of it, and, you know, having the spiral bound here, Oracle, with the keywords. And so I could flip it as I needed to, right? So, yeah, I'm a huge fan of this deck. Always have been, always will be probably. It is one of my top Oracle decks of all time. Okay, not just for these types of readings, but it's just one that I could like keep, you know, like your top 5 if you had to really pick a Oracle deck, right? Okay, I've gone on long enough about my beloved Mildred Payne. Let's move on to the next one. Number 3, Murder Mystery Oracle Cards, Detective Cards with Clues and Insights by the late, great Melanie France. I believe this deck is now being sold on Etsy. Her daughters have carried on their mom's legacy. She was a great reader, did fabulous readings. They're still on, you know, her channel are still there. But I got this deck when she was with us, and it does not disappoint. It really comes through. I typically only use this deck, here's the card backs, When I know there's an element of criminality or foul play has taken place in a case, I try to wait on missing persons cases to pull this out, because I don't want, to cause harm to maybe loved ones or family members, friends who come across the videos. Yes, they come across the reading videos. And, you're sitting up here using a deck like this, and it's a missing persons case, and it could have been an accidental death, or maybe a runaway, or someone who took their own life. It could be a number of things that it doesn't mean that there's an element of foul play. And, so I'm very, very intentional on when I use this deck. Not always, but when I do, when I do, it provides a lot of clarity to a situation. So it's lies, deception, and a potential cover-up. I usually, in an opening oracle reading for a true crime case, I will pull cards anywhere from 1, 3, 4, and 6. Usually 1 to 3 cards, because I don't want it to get convoluted. And I listen to my intuition on how many cards to pull. But ideally, I like to pull 3. Sometimes a 4th card will jump, and then I'll let it be. Sometimes I'm called to have 2 rows of 3 for 6. Okay. So, yeah. This is the Murder Mystery Oracle cards. And it's a great one to have if you are exploring doing true crime readings. All right, let's move on to the next one. Next up is number 4, the Divine Shadow Self Oracle by Divine Visions. Okay, I usually use this one during opening oracle readings with my Mildred Payne Secret Pocket Oracle deck. This deck is also great for like relationship challenges. It can give you the emotional and mental interpersonal relationship dynamics and energy surrounding a situation, like what's going on with the victim, or how was the household like, energetically. Was there forms of dominance? Look, domineering, boredom. And it's just got keywords with a black rose in the background, but it serves its purpose. When you're doing these types of readings, sometimes it's just nice to have something very clear that speaks to you. And in this case, this is a deck with keywords: held hostage, aloof, drained, flighty, empty, abuse, hostility, grief. So I always ask, during the mystic readings, for spirit to share the shadow aspects of the situation, or what was surrounding the victim, or what was surrounding the people involved, the key people involved, right? So that is what this deck does for me in my readings. Numbness, rage, perception, grudge, burdens. So let me do that. So yeah, this is a great deck. I always consult it. Somehow it's gotten typecast to just work with my mystery readings, but I remember a time when I would be called to use it in my relationship readings for clients, and I may begin to consult with it again, because it is a really good deck for those shadowy aspects in relationships, and when your clients contact you about challenges in relationships or with the people they're dealing with. This deck is really good for that too. Okay. All right. So that's the Divine Shadow Self Oracle. Okay, so we have number 5, and that is the Divine Crime Oracle. And this is also by Divine Visions, the same creator of the Divine Shadow Self Oracle that I just mentioned to you. And it is a chunky deck. I forgot how many cards come in it, but it is comprehensive. If I were to recommend a deck other than the one I created, it would be this one, because it has everything you could need to really get started in the genre of true crime oracle readings. You can use it as a standalone deck. Here's the summer card, so we've got the seasons represented. You can use it in conjunction with tarot. You can use it as a clarifying message or a validating message that says social drinks gathering. And you can, I sometimes will do like a big spread of like 12 cards and do it that way. It has all kinds of ways someone could encounter trouble, like, well, someone taking their own life, or maybe they had a car accident, a slip and fall. Maybe it's an accidental drowning. It doesn't always, the cards can also point away from foul play. So that this deck is helpful with that as well. We have here accident, like I just mentioned. There is a separate car accident one. We have natural causes, another message that could be very beneficial for such a reading. Known to police in the system criminal record. We have directions represented with north, and there's northeast, northwest. We have kilometers or distance, so maybe how far the perp took the victim away from their home, or a radius of how how big the radius was that the perp traveled to from the crime to their home to discarding evidence, like a radius, right? Or maybe where they're living now, or maybe where a key witness lives. So kilometers is a very important, or miles, because you can convert it, is helpful information in such a reading. We have tattoos, so there's different types of characteristics or traits or descriptors for people in here. We have intimate relationships, sex, romance, emotional ties. Known to victim. So a couple more. We have overseas, local, global travel. I think there's a crossing borders card as well. Unknown to police, not in the system, clean record. Thugs, dealer, criminals. Put you up there. See a few more. Burn down, fire, or arson. So like evidence destruction, or burning down a home, or someone having an arsonist background. Intoxicated, drinking, drunk, alcohol. I like the multiple keywords on here. Lust, affair, temptation, infidelity. So some aggravating factors going on with the case. There is the crossing border card. So we have the months represented. We also have taxi, public transport. So you can think about an Uber situation. Maybe something happening from point A to point B, following an Uber ride, or inside an Uber ride, or maybe involving an Uber driver. Got another month. Crime of passion and rage. We also have different locales and terrains. Family. We have months, like hours, days, weeks, months, years. Unsolved. We have train tracks. So this is like a landmark card. Group fight. So types of vehicles. There's like truck, motorcycle, old car, dark night, wandering, secluded, alone. So yeah, that's what we got, friends. I'll stop here, but I highly recommend the Divine Crime Oracle. Okay, so next up is the trace evidence telling cards. Okay, this I believe is my first true crime oracle. Now, the Mildred Payne Secret Pocket Oracle is probably the oldest of all the decks that I'm sharing with you all today, right? But it didn't come into my reading practice because of mystery mystic readings. But this is the first one. This trace evidence is the first one that I got specifically for doing true crime readings. And I just love the way it shuffles. Yeah, let's see. I believe it's still available for sale. I think. Here's the card backs. Love the card backs. Footprints. So we have bank. Could be like bank records or, you know, bank surveillance. Especially if you have these two cards together. Footprints. Yeah. I really connected with this deck when I got it. It was like, it clearly spoke to me, and it works well as a standalone oracle deck or with tarot. Yeah, I'm not quite sure if it's still available for sale. Maybe it's like on, you know, Make Playing Cards or Printer Studio. Con Man is what this one says. Swamp. Health issues. Yeah. I don't know how many cards. I want to say, I think it's 78 cards. I don't know. It feels like it is, but it could be less. But I think it's 78. I'm not sure. We have gray hair color. So hair color. Missing. I was just blown away with like how you could pull just a few cards from this deck, 1 to 3 cards, and like get a lot of information. And yeah, let's see, we got money. Do you know this deck? Out of Town. Have you seen it before? Have you seen me work with it before on my channel? Let me know. But this is the trace evidence telling card. I was trying to see if they have like the aunt card. Oh, look, we have woman. Yeah, so. But yeah, that is the trace evidence telling card. I could keep shuffling it all day. Sorry, y'all. I love shuffling this deck. Okay, next up is the Dark Mirror Oracle. This is a Los Scarabeo deck. And I've often shared on the channel about how for the longest time I didn't really know how to work with it. Work with this deck. I mean, I knew I felt called to get it many years ago. I think it was published. Let me see if it says on the back. I don't know if it's going to say readily. Let's see if the guidebook says it. 2018. Yeah, I got it that year or maybe the year after. And for a number of years, I was just like, I don't know quite how to work with it. And I almost got rid of it a couple of times, like sold it. But I am so glad that I didn't sell it. Because it's now found its niche in my deck collection as a go-to for looking at certain subtle energies that are really like almost difficult to really grasp. Like when you see cases involving family members, particularly like parent to child or child to parent or close connections, and wanting to really explore that a bit more about what's really in the shadows beneath what we can really experience. Like this dives deep. The Dark Mirror Oracle. This is where I found that it really works. These types of readings. It says Blinded to Payne. The guidebook is amazing. And yeah, I don't always use this deck. I used to use it all the time for mystery, mystic readings, but sometimes I'll take a break from it because, you know, the other cards will be sufficient in the messages it delivers, but there are times where I'm like, no, I really need to go deeper. Or it could be one time when I use this deck that stands out as the Felicia Johnson case. And I used this deck, I believe, and the cards that came up, like, oof. And she didn't really know this guy that ultimately is accused of taking her life, but there were dark elements to what happened and how they like karmically were destined to cross paths. It was like really like, oh my God, is this deck unlocked some things for me in that reading. Atonement. The child I was meant to be. Envious gluttony. All right. Perchance to dream. So I'm pretty sure I did a video, like a flip through of this deck or some sort of video, I think. If I did, I'll link it in the description box. Any of the, you know, decks I discussed today that I actually have videos for, I always try to link the flip through of that deck in the description box of this video. But I can tell you that many of the decks discussed in this video probably do not have flip throughs, because I started getting these decks at a time where I was just like, I'm pausing on always doing deck flip throughs on the channel. I just don't feel like it. I just want to get to work with the decks and not really focus on sharing all the bits about it. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I have a flip through for this one. All right, let's move on. Okay, so here is the Who Clarifying Oracle deck. And what can I say about this little powerful deck? It works great for people who are seeking love, but also it works great for clues on who may be in the know of what happened to a particular person in a mystic reading, right? There's like the Chinese astrology signs, horse. It's got the years associated, like between 1942 to 2026. Some keywords about the personality. So there's that. Snake, rooster, Aries. Aries has dates. Fire element, strengths and weaknesses of this person. So strengths would be enthusiastic, witty, confident, honest. Weaknesses, impulsive, selfish, or moody. And then there's those, the date range for Aries. So I look at that when I'm doing readings. I look at the date ranges. I look at what may be coming through, like astrological sign, fire, right? Aries, perhaps. Family or past connection. Coming in to offer resources and stability. Mirror. New connection. Got Virgo. Aquarius. Monkey. Masculine energy. Karmic. long term. So you see, I won't keep going. Coming in as a partner or companion, feminine energy, nearby, twin flame, friend, acquaintance, or coworker. Okay, soulmate. See if there's anything else. Coming in with advice and guidance. So I'll stop there, but it's a wonderful deck for clues on someone who may be coming into someone's life, or clues on who might be returning, or in true crime readings and mystery readings, it gives you clues on, you know, people in the proximity to the victim or the person that we're doing a reading on, right? So that's the Who Clarifying Oracle deck. So this is number 10. This is a deck that I created. It's the Defining Characteristics Oracle, and it is available for sale. I created this deck not with mystery mystic readings in mind, but just characteristics of, you know, someone who may be coming in, or clues about someone's involvement or something like that. You get, you know, like, oh, like it's this tall person at your workplace that's causing the issues. But of course it works with, you know, mystery mystic readings or true crime readings, because it can give some clues on people who might be involved, other victims, witnesses, family members, the perps themselves. So I created this deck some years ago, and I use it often. But this one definitely is not just for mystery mystic readings, but it works well in those readings. Elderly or mature. Markings. Crooked teeth. European features. Walking abnormality. Dark skin. Brown eyes. Oh my gosh. This card came up, the Felicia Johnson case. I'm mentioning again because this card came up and the perp looks just like him. Like it was hard for me to see this guy in my deck after that. After knowing what this person who allegedly did this to Felicia. I won't go into it now. You all can check that out at your leisure. The news on what he's accused of doing to her. But yeah, that card came up. I was like, oh my God. Poor hygiene or unkempt. Man. Brunette. Left-hand dominant. I'm left-hand dominant. Fair skin or albino. Striking appearance. Blue eyes. Injury or disability. Hazel. Gap teeth. Okay. We'll stop there. I have a full flip through if you want to check it out. I'll link that in the description box. And then with this deck, I also have this deck, which is not available for sale, but I call it my Sacred Spaces Oracle. And, you know, there could be clues on where a person in the know or who is involved, you know, the perp or a witness or a family member, maybe where they work near or at. We have bakery or some kind of like location clue about where clues could be. To a case, we have collision. I made this deck just for myself, like, you know, when you want to do a reading about different spaces and places, right? Online, bank, medical or dental office, fitness, getaway, workspace, party. So if you have a spaces deck, you could definitely use that in your reading. Maybe not, obviously not this one, because this one is not for sale. I made it just for my use. Greenhouse, art studio, nightclub. But I often use it, if I'm using this one, I'm often using this one. So yeah, those are my decks. Okay, so last but not least, this is the official number 10. Haters Exposed Evil Eye Oracle cards. Now this is probably the newest of the Oracle decks that I've used in these types of readings. And I'm still getting to know it. I don't always pull it out. I don't always feel the intuitive tug to grab it. But there are times when I'll get a nudge that says, grab that deck. Seek someone to learn to do a hex-breaking ritual. Scorned love. It's got some helpful tools. Tiger's eye. Protection, self-confidence, inner strength, willpower, clarity. It helps with grounding, which is saying about tiger's eye. Blackmail. Secretly jealous and hating on your romantic relationship. Unexplained freak accident. Beware of anyone from the past wanting to enter back into your life. Causing you to miss out, lose an opportunity. So, see, you cut them off and they're still watching. Causing you to act out of character, I believe that's what it means. Irrational emotions, mood swings. Okay, so I have a full flip through and impressions video for this deck, so I'll link that in the description box. But I started using this one recently in some of these types of readings, these true crime or mystery mystic readings or maritime mystery readings, and I only pull anywhere from 1 to 3 cards, 3 cards at most, but ideally 1 to 2. And the messages are spot on. I find that if I pull more than that, things get a little crowded and clouded in my mind, and I just need clear messages, clear insight and clarity, and I use it more so for that purpose of just providing clarification in a reading and pointing us in the direction of, well, what kind of hate are we dealing with? You know, what kind of bad vibes are we picking up on? So this definitely helps with that part of the reading. All right, friends, there you have it. That is my top 10-ish Oracle decks that I use for my true crime and mystery mystic readings. Let me know what types of decks you like to use in your true crime readings. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comment section down below as well. I want to hear from you. Do you have any of these decks? What works well in your practice? Share, share, share. All right, do me a favor on your way out. Please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. More mystery mystic readings are coming. I had to take a little break, but I'm feeling like I can get back on the saddle slowly, and stay tuned for that, okay? You all take very good care of yourselves, all right? Thanks so much for watching. Bye for now.